Since I do things a little different here with this no filter fish room, excuse that tank, I'm working in it. Some of you guys may or may not know I am getting ready for a boxing match, Fins and Fury, against the king of DIY, Joey himself. Link for the pay-per-view in the description below. Out of all the people to get the opportunity, I have that opportunity now, so I haven't had as much time catching you guys up on what's been going on in the fish room. So today, I thought I'd share with you guys a quick video of one of my tanks. I know many of you guys were talking about, hey, just go through like a tank a day or something like that. But we'll do a little video, something like that, where we'll be going over this one right here. All right, it's time. Put this off long enough. I've got to deal with this Luigi Archiata. And we'll go through the tank. I did scrape the glass like maybe a year ago. Let's go ahead and do that again. And then I'll walk you through a bit of it. You can see the shrimp and snails, they don't mind the dirty glass, but it doesn't make viewing very pleasurable. Much better now. Now, first thing first, let's go with the tank setup. So right above it, we have a double LED 6500K on the color Kelvin scale. I think it's around 4,000 lumens. It's a 75 gallon. The substrate is Brightwell, which is kind of like an ADA. It's more of a power soil. And it's also blended in with sand there. As far as the plants, we've got Crypt Parva here. You can see there's Daphnia within the water here, right at the bottom. Lots of yellow Neocaridina's. There's some Malaysian trumpet snails. There's probably some ramshorn. There's probably bladder snails as well. And then a huge mass of Luigia Archiata. This is a really easy, low-tech plant. Grows really well without a whole lot of care. This hasn't had water changes in at least, I would say, probably 4 or 5 months. I do my top-offs. But you can see the plant is getting to the very top here. And it's either going to bust out of the top and or algae is going to grow in between it. So this is a big reason why I'm doing the video, is I've got to trim this up, clean this up, and keep it from going awry. And off here from the corner of that is what is supposed to be a Snow White Anubias, but it's actually looking more like a Pinto Anubias. So when it comes to the Snow White Anubias, it's really that color. You get that white from hitting it with more white spectrum. So the lighting, color, temperature makes a big difference on how this grows. It actually makes a big difference on how a lot of plants will grow. Looks like I got a Heuteroid crypt hiding back there behind all this Luigia as well. Now there's almost a tank inside this tank. Here you can see, way down yonder, there's some CPDs in here. So this was a breeder basket that I had for these CPDs. There's a little Brazilian pennywort growing in there, a little Bacopa monnieri, little tiny bit of pearlweed, and some kind of, I think it may be Christmas moss. But this breeding basket has become its own creation. I absolutely love how this moss here is growing on the insulation. Which this is just a pond planted basket, has holes on the bottom like that. As you can see, the moss has absolutely covered it. And I use piping insulation and zip tied it around on top of it to make it float. And I do got this weird algae that I've seen growing on this Bacopa monnieri. It only grows up on the monnieri. This is the only tank it's ever grown on. I don't know if it's feeding from that insulation or what, but it's kind of gnarly. If it's not really doing its job, I mean, what's the point really? I might as well retire it. But I can use that moss elsewhere. I'm not worried about this algae spreading. I'll probably go ahead, the moss and or plants, if I do save them, I will only put them in one other tank just in case it does spread. We'll see. Maybe moving them out of the tank, out of this, will dissipate whatever that may be. Whatever that may be, because it's got to be environmental. I'm guessing it has to be. I've never seen it in anything else. It is really cool to see this whole ecosystem thriving though. The thing about yellow shrimp, they tend to be more vivacious eaters than the other colored Neocaridinae, like cherries and blue dreams. At least these guys are. They just love to eat. But now we gotta cut all this out. I'm gonna trim it down to about yay low. So what I do to do that is I just simply get my hand in there. I might keep that runner in there, because see, this one's kind of running out in the edge. So if I leave this guy out here, it's really gonna stretch. What I wanna get into is more the middle, where all these taller, higher ones. And I'm just kind of feeling my way around. You might be able to hear it, since it's so quiet in here. Oh yeah, the tank's got no filter, no heater. I keep my fish room in the mid 70s, so I don't need a heater for anything. It's fairly simple to do this. Some people get the tools out and do all that stuff. Ooh, see, this one's actually connected all the way down here. So I definitely want to not get up underneath that one. Because what will happen, this one will grow out and then it'll start shooting more stems off. Of course, I may not do this perfect, but you know what? It'll grow back. Not worried about doing it perfect. Who knows? Might be perfect enough for me. And as you do this, the more it'll grow and propagate. You gotta train your plants. It's just like gardening and horticulture. Like, you've gotta trim them and train them like how to grow. They will. They definitely will. So now I got a lot of this kind of plucked off. Not even close. Man, I might have to put more on the website. So I will have this on the website, LRBAquatics.com. Whoop whoop. Cheap. Look at the color. This is what the underneath of the plant looks like. You know, I trimmed a lot of this. Doesn't look like a whole lot out of the water. Then you get it in the water. Absolutely beautiful plant. And as I was saying, how that one stem would grow shooting plants out the top. Here you can see this one's already doing it. So it's like one of those runners. So I could actually just pluck this down here. Pluck this down here. This thing would just run across the bottom. We'll let it float. Actually, I'm gonna trim this one because we'll use that elsewhere. All right, now that's all trimmed out. You can kind of see the top of it now. Just cut my way through the middle of it. You can see here where it's even getting roots. Right in the middle. This will leave me a nice healthy amount. And this tank is actually one of hundreds upon hundreds that I have in the fish room. All no filter. Now the glass may not be the cleanest, but I grow a heck of a lot of plants and fish and shrimp and stuff out of here. But over here, I want to make this all my planted section. I'm slowly working there with like different plants, like more stem plants. But this one is just, it's been neglected for a long time. There's only a Pleco in there. This Rotalia colorata, there's just not enough plants in here to absorb what the algae is absorbing. With all that Luigia archeata, I could put it in here to gain rebalance in this aquarium. Now I could pull this algae just straight up and off of this Rotalia, but I'm not too worried about it because catty corner to them, I have an absolute forest of Rotalia colorata growing in here. On the bottom and floating and growing on the top. Which I love floating stem plants because look at the roots. Just as far as breeding ground, absolutely phenomenal for egg scatters. I do have a little algae in here, but it's not looking too lively. It's got a really pale shade of green, so it's not doing that well in here. Have not done water changes in here like I should be because my pumps quit working on me and just haven't had time. I don't usually see my pygmy chain loach out. Cool to see him. They're on my breeding bucket list. Still haven't bred them yet. Beautiful, beautiful fish. Look at that guy. Now that's a real specimen. Healthy. Oh, and you're pretty awesome too. Even the females have color. Most of my guppies that I sell, the females have a little color. I don't usually get lines if they don't. That guy's been in a battle. Anyway, super easy to get distracted in here. But I gotta pretty much clear this out. I may keep the crypt in there and just kind of let it grow out and then pull it out later. Looks like I got some random plant over there. I don't even know. Those don't even look like the same crypt. I think this is just Wintii. This is all yard sand in here. Gonna redo that. I need to take the Pleco out, put him somewhere else too. Because if I keep that Pleco in there with all those stem plants, I'll never get to them ever again. And really, there's only one way to do this. Let's just do it. I gotta get my fingers down low because, like, although there's a lot of algae on top, look at the roots from that sand. Nice and healthy roots. There's actually a Pleco cave under this, which is another reason why I'm growing a lot of algae, is just the fact that I've got inorganic things in here. This is gonna stir stuff up, so we'll have to let it settle down. Come back to it. So lots of work to do with that. If you guys want to see me put all that together, stay tuned, subscribe to the channel. We'll do that, as well as getting into a lot more of these aquariums that are in this fish room, fish barn, whatever you want to call this place. Still a lot of work to do in here. We are putting it together though. We're getting there. I'm excited for it. And you know, the possibilities, there's a lot of them. I think these guys are about ready. So thank you all for watching. Until next time, have a great one. No filter.